Shalom. Before I begin this video, all praise, honor, and glory goes into Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, and taught us His truth, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops, along with you brothers who are laboring all throughout the four winds of the earth. Yah Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yah Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Quadash, Barakatham. To you brothers, man. And the title of this lesson is "The Sea Hip Will Come," and then World War III will come. Right, because we know that, we're waiting on the Sea Hip before all hell breaks loose. And this is, this is just an article. WW3 getting closer and closer. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. It's just a quick video. Short video.
Weapons unveiled, like this intercontinental ballistic missile, over 100 aircraft, and more than 10,000 troops. The huge parade in the heart of Beijing marked President Xi Jinping's ambition to transform China from one of the world's biggest arms buyers into a maker of all the weapons it needs for itself, and an increasingly formidable exporter on target to hit $3.2 billion across dozens of countries. Analysts believe China's motivation for this huge expansion goes beyond the financial. Here's why. For much of its history, the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, relied on foreign military equipment, particularly from Russia, like this jet fighter. But in recent decades, Beijing has invested heavily in state-owned and private sector defense companies.
Self-reliance is a fundamental part of what China does in terms of military technological development. It needs to be able to supply equipment and capability very quickly to the Chinese military. And if it relies on a foreign country to do that, then the ability of the PLA to respond to any contingency effectively and efficiently and quickly is compromised.
The parade, to commemorate 80 years since the end of World War II, following the surrender of Japan, fits Xi Jinping's modernization push.
For China, this is a question of prestige. Over the last 6 years, China has made a lot of inroads in a lot of areas of military technology, and so this parade is an opportunity for China to demonstrate the growing power of its defense industry.
China's defense imports have been steadily dropping, reaching its lowest point in the period of 2020 and 2024. At the same time, Beijing has emerged among the world's top 5 arms sellers. But China's share of the global arms market has so far failed to expand much further.
We said at the time, okay, China's moved very quickly into a strong position. We're likely to see China move into the top 2 or 3 exporters. But we haven't seen that because the scope of China's defense export customers is quite limited.
Chinese arms attract buyers in the global south for several reasons. The relatively low price, the wide range of products from drones to missile systems and military helicopters, fewer restrictions on how to use them compared to Western arms, and the many different ways of paying for the equipment.
China is able to sell its equipment to countries that have not much money, that don't have many options to buy from, perhaps because the US is not willing to sell to them. China is very adept at being able to sell military equipment for minerals, or in exchange for energy, or in exchange for gas, or in exchange for many other things. But it's not able to sell its military equipment to mature markets who have a strong defense industrial base and are active in procuring equipment from the US and Europe.
Chinese arms are also still widely perceived to be inferior to Western arms. Defense experts say Chinese weapons are largely untested in combat and suffer from quality and performance problems. Some analysts add the quality of the arms that China is exporting is not the same it provides to its own troops. But in May 2025, during a short confrontation between Islamabad and New Delhi, Pakistan's Chinese-made aircraft reportedly managed to down India's French-made military aircraft.
We still don't know really what happened, and so I take that with a pinch of salt. But what I would say is that as Chinese defense equipment has continued to increase in quality over the last 20 years, the quality that it exports has also increased, even though it's not as strong as some of the Western counterparts, for sure.
Military parades are an opportunity for countries to show off their wares to potential buyers across the world. But China is not motivated by money alone.
The driver for China in exports is not the funds, it's the influence that it can gauge in the emerging markets through the exports. When China exports helicopters to Cambodia through the provision of soft loans, China does not do that because it needs the money. China does that because it can gain a strategic and diplomatic influence in the country through which it can exercise its power.
China also uses the parade to telegraph its position to the world.
It is a message to the US, to US allies in the region that, hey, China is an advanced military capability, and China is able to act on its strategic requirements through its military, and it better be taken seriously. That's the message, really.
The dollar's value has plunged recently to some of its lowest
WGU's
levels.
needs-based scholarships
What
are
does that mean
helping
for
make
Americans?
college affordable.
The
Learn
dollar
more
index
at
measures the value of the
WGU.edu.
dollar against a basket of foreign currencies of major trading partners. In recent weeks, that value has plunged, extending declines from last year. The US dollar has been historically strong for the last decade or so, but since the pandemic, the value of the dollar has shot upward. Now, this afforded consumers a lot of benefits, at least in the short term. It gave them more purchasing power for imports, say foreign cars or internationally made clothing, and at the same time, travelers heading abroad were able to stretch their dollars farther in places ranging from Lisbon to Germany to Japan. Over the last 18 months or so, that dynamic has flipped somewhat and has accelerated in recent weeks. My colleagues spoke with a Polish furniture company that said essentially they had to boost the prices on some of their products. There have been recent events that have helped push the value of the dollar downward.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland.
First and foremost was Trump's threatened trade war against European countries. The Treasury Department has also taken steps signaling that it might move to help strengthen the yen against the US dollar. Although the Treasury Department has denied that move, that has helped the yen outperform the US dollar in recent weeks. Also in the background are questions about the path forward for interest rate policy in the United States. President Trump is pushing for lower interest rates in the months and years ahead. And while that could reduce borrowing costs for Americans, that would also lessen the amount of returns investors get from holding U.S. government debt. There's a significant silver lining to a somewhat weaker U.S. dollar. A weaker U.S. dollar theoretically makes U.S. exports more attractive, things like cars, airplanes, and other products. And this speaks to a key plank of President Trump's economic agenda. For decades, the U.S. has run a pretty large trade deficit, which essentially means that we buy way more things from abroad than we send abroad at the same time. Now, Trump wants to flip that dynamic somewhat, and a weaker dollar would theoretically help that. A lot of folks on Wall Street expect the dollar to continue weakening this year for some of these broader dynamics at play. Folks that we've spoken with in recent days expect as much as 20% declines against currencies such as the euro, for example. That said, no one expects the bottom to fall out. The U.S. economy is still...
The dollar through. And they want to pay, they want folks to pay for the article. No can do. So let me just read a little bit of this and get into some scriptures. It says Beijing's undersea advances, including the expected deployment of submarines equipped with longer range and more accurate ballistic missiles, will allow it to assert its interests farther from its shores, and ultimately they have submarines with ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, along with mobile vehicles along with silos, right? All sorts of, airplanes that are nuclear capable. And it's not just China. So let's get a couple precepts. All right, this is Psalm chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, right, the elect, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Yeah, so, all these plans of who's up next, you continue to hear this word, dominance. Moab ain't up next. None of these other nations are up next. Okay. Yahushua is coming back and saving his elect, the elect of the nation of Israel. And he's laughing at you other nations. Because y'all think y'all up next. Y'all think y'all, big and bad. It says, then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. And he's going to use the men of the Lord, starting off with the elder apostles of Great Millstone. He's going to use them, right? Lord's will of the elect, right? As a mouthpiece, speaking about what the Lord is about to do. It says, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. And who is that? Yahushua. The elect of the nation of Israel worships Yahushua, right? Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. It says, I will declare the decree, right? So we speaking, we calling that out. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So, in the future, Lord's will of the elect, we're not only going to possess the heathen, but, possess all the lands. It says, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Right? Always understanding and knowing that, it's the Lord that's causing these things to happen. It's the Lord that gives and it's the Lord that takes away. So, we pray in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Psalms 51, for the Lord not to take his Holy Spirit away from us. For the Lord to blot out our sins, to blot out our transgressions that are ever before us. Right? Having us turn, and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, Psalms 2:12, kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way. What's the way? The truth, the light. Right? Lord's will, we're following that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, when his wrath is kindled but a little. And right now, this is, these little You know, everything's on preheat right now. But pretty soon, you know, the Lord is going to really heat it up. Right? It says, blessed are all they that put their trust in him. And the only people that are going to put their trust in him, that him is Yahweh Shai. And the only ones that are going to put their trust in him are the elect of the nation of Israel. Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So all these nations are drunk off the Babylon juice. Right? It says, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Part of her delicacies is this weaponry. You know, these other countries have been buying, you know, American weapons for so long, and using those weapons to, you know, control and make war with other parts of the world. And now those other parts of the world that have been, you know, terrorized and stepped on, you know, now they're gaining power and they're gaining traction, you know, and ultimately fighting back. You know, like the scriptures say, let the weak say, I am strong. Right? Because these other nations who once were just nobodies, they were just, you know, just bystanders, just onlookers. You know, now they have, you know, now they've girded their loins, and now they're, you know, they're preparing to basically step to Babylon the Great, aka America, you know, as a group as well. You know, all the other nations are banding together against Babylon the Great. Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Yeah, so, you know, coming out of this place spiritually, not partaking in the evil, the wickedness, you know, being a part of this place. Right? For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. So the Lord hasn't forgotten, you know, all the injustices of this place, right? You know, how this place was created, how this place is maintained, right? Through bloodshed, robbery, right? Deletion. It says, Salakia, Revelation 18:6. Reward her even as she rewarded you. Yeah, so they're gonna get fucking bombarded with missiles. The same thing, you know, that they do. You know, roll up on these different nations. Alright, now you finna get rolled up on. Alright, it says, and double unto her, double according to her works. Yeah, so for what you did and what you gonna do, you finna get double. It says, in the cup which she had filled to her double. Yes, you get the double cup. Jake love talking about a double cup. See, Babylon the Great, aka America, go have that double cup. It says how much she hath glorified herself. Yeah, and look at this fucking place. You know, you continue to prop yourself up, Esau. Right, the so-called white man, you continue to prop yourself up, glorify this place. And this place is a hellhole. It's got to go. And the Lord's going to get rid of this place, man. This place is a violent cesspool. It's like a filthy, dirty, mud hole. This is the shadow of the valley of death. Alright. And fuck this place. May this place be fucking destroyed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. This is something that we wait patiently for, knowing that, this is going to take place, the destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America. This proud, this destitute, proud, vanity-filled, folly-filled, abomination-filled, filled with liars, idolaters, fucking witches, warlocks, ghouls, goblins. This place is fucking wicked, man. Filled with the worst of the worst. Right? The worst of the heathens. The worst of the Israelites, right? The 2/3. 2/3 nigga, because, a wicked, evil Israelite in America, that's as wicked as you gonna get. Because, on an international level, Jake, evil, you got evil Jake all over the world, yet the American so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American is on a whole nother level of ignorant, right? Because they live here. They have a love for here. You ask the 2/3 nigga what he feel about Babylon the Great, aka America, he gonna say he love it, right? This is what's gonna happen to this place. Revelation 18:7. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Yeah, and that's the average mindset of every single last so-called American. All of them believe that this place is going to bounce back. We see the elect, Lord's will were of the elect. We know this shit is through. We know that this ain't gonna bounce back. It's impossible. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Yes, so in one day this place is gonna be completely destroyed. Now we don't know the exact day, yet we know that there are indicators, and we know that we are right around the corner from that, right? We're patiently waiting for the CHIP to be implemented on a worldwide, international scale. And we know what comes after that. Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. That she is America, and being burned with fire, speaking about those intercontinental ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads attached to them. It says, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, who judgeth her. So the Heavenly Father and also His Son are judging and will judge America, aka Babylon the Great. See, right now is being judged by the prophets being on the scene, starting off with the elder apostles of Great Millstone on down. Right, this place being judged cursed out. Right? We're continuing to, chant this fucking place down. Alright, and then eventually we know that the Lord is going to actually physically judge this place. This place is going to be physically burned with fire. See, right now the fire is coming out of the mouths of the prophets. But pretty soon it's going to be an actual physical fire that's going to touch down on this place. Revelation 18:9, it says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning." Yeah, this place is going up in flames, burnt to a crisp. It says, "Standing afar off for the fear of her torment." Yeah, because they're going to see this place get burnt the hell up. It says, saying, "Alas, alas, that great city Babylon," right? Because this is basically a big ass city. All of America is basically one big mighty city, right? It says, "That mighty city, for in one hour is thy judgment come." Because in that hour, in that hour that's being spoke of, all the missiles are going to be shot off and sent towards here, Babylon the Great. It says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore." Yeah, and America is the biggest importer of goods. America buys all the goods from these other nations. So this is just, some items. The Revelation 18:12, "The merchandise of gold, silver, and precious stones, and of pearls, fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men." "And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee." Yeah, and see, all these goods and services, all that shit is coming to a close. It says, "And all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee." All these little, these little conveniences, right? Everything's been so convenient and easy to access here for you damn heathens. It says, "And thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her." Yeah, and all these other nations have gotten rich by selling their, products here. Because you got something that may cost $3 in China, and they can sell it here for shit, $25, $30. Alright, it says, "Shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls." Yeah, the belle of the ball, so to speak. Once again, this is the third time it's going to mention this. Revelation 18:17. For in 1 hour, so great riches has come to naught. Yeah, so it's going to go from the most powerful kingdom in existence, and it's going to be wiped out. It's gonna be wiped out to nothing. It's gonna go from the number one top, you know, kingdom to nothing. It's gonna be completely obliterated. It says, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? Yeah, so they're gonna be like, shit, where am I gonna sell? Where am I gonna sell these fucking products? Cause who gonna buy all this bullshit? All these different things. So many things getting bought and sold, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, yet all the other nations. Alright, once again, since speaking on it again. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. America, aka Babylon the Great. Alright, this place is gonna be destroyed. Okay, Lord's will, we're of the elect. We're gonna be able to see it take place. Right, and this is in our lifetime. Alright, fuck what the heathen talking about. Alright, fuck what the 2/3 talking about. We know that this is gonna take place. And they cannot believe. They set up not to believe. Alright, and the elect of the nation of Israel are set up to believe. Right, we are, Lord's will, we be of the elect. We are the opposite of the 2/3. Alright, Revelation 18:20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye apostles and prophets. For Yahweh Shemashah hath avenged you on her, yea, avenged the elect. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So pretty soon this bitch ain't gonna exist. Alright, they're gonna try to get us up out the way, scoop us up, you know, do certain things to us, you know, take us to some of these different, you know, concentration camps, some of these different black sites, you know, off grid, and it don't matter. it don't matter, man, because ultimately it's the Lord's will being done. You know, Lord's will, we're of the elect. They gonna do what they gonna do. You know, we just continue to prepare through the Spirit. You know, no big deal. If we get scooped up, no big deal. You know, might have to sit. You know, might have to sit behind a cage. Hey, whatever. You know, because we just gonna know in them times that that's happening. Alright, we gonna know that, hey, right around the corner from that, the Lord is gonna come back, man. You know, in Lord's will we be of the elect. The Lord is gonna free us, man. He's gonna free his elect and allow his elect to see the destruction of this place, man. Lord's will, we're of the elect. This is what we're going to see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this in the video. Revelation 15:2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. And then they had gotten the victory over the beast. Right, because this beast is going to come with an army and a system. Right, a whole way of living, a whole way of being that's going to be backed by this beast, being NATO and the EU. Alright, so the elect are going to get the victory over the beast. Because the Lord's will, we get to be in those new bodies. We going to fucking destroy y'all. You ain't going to be able to do nothing against, this is beyond regular humans. Alright, we're going to have all the power and authority from the Lord to completely dismantle and destroy y'all, man. See, we can't do nothing in these bodies. Right now, currently, we just wait till the Lord equips us with those new bodies, those perfect bodies, where the laws are written in our inward parts. Right? It says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark. Yes, so the elect of the nation of Israel, none of them are going to take the mark, MOTV, which is the micro seal. It says, and over his mark and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And they sing the song of Moses and the servant. It's like it. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord, power almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Yeah, Lord's will would be of the elect. We're going to be calling out to the Lord, thanking the Lord for saving us, getting us the hell up out of here. Because these wacky, crazy ass devils, they think they're going to be able to take on the Lord. They're going to fail miserably. All these other nations, they puffing their chest out, getting ready for war, not knowing that you going up against the Most High Son, right? Real name, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. He ain't going to be playing with you damn heathens, man. The Lord's going to come with all power and authority to come save his bride, the elect. Lord's will we be of the elect. So you heathens, you can try to put all this money towards war and all that. The Lord is going to dismantle you and destroy you and crush you and set up his elect of the nation of Israel to rule, man. Yasharallah, he Prince Power. And that title is going to be known. The elect is going to be, it's going to be known that the elect of the nation of Israel are ruling. Alright, you other nations, you ain't going to have no weapons. There ain't going to be no weapons in the kingdom. You ain't going to have no guns and lasers and, fucking rockets. Right? Your new purpose is going to be to serve us, the elect of the nation of Israel, man. And you're going to serve the 2/3 as well. Alright, Lord's will we be of the elect. The 2/3 are going to come through the loins of the elect. And you're going to serve them as well. Alright, you heathens, man. So that's a plus for the 2/3, is that, on this side, they're just fucking all wicked, rude as hell, impulsive, right? Liars, deceivers. Yet, in the kingdom, you're going to get a chance and an opportunity to rule over the other nations, man. So there is a bounce back, you know, for the entire nation of Israel. You know, it's just the elect of the nation of Israel is going to survive this, you know, major deadly event, which is the missiles, you know, famine, pestilence, you know, all these people attacking each other. The elect is going to survive all those things and be the governing body of the kingdom of heaven. Lord's will would be of the elect. Alright, so with that, Lord's will, you are edified. Barakatha Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Once again, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, from the elder apostle Tahar on down, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops, and enough respect to you brothers worldwide, teaching and preaching the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you know, defending the gospel to the best of your ability, you know, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Alright, may you brothers continue to be blessed. I'm going to pray for you brothers, man. Alright, continue to watch as well as pray this damn enemy. Esau Edom, along with the heathen nations, they're constantly plotting and planning. Right, and we're constantly plotting and planning through the spirit, knowing what's coming up next. See, Esau, Edom, and the other nations, they're planning on a physical, carnal level. Us, alright, Lord's will, we're of the elect of the nation of Israel. We're planning on a spiritual level, man. And the elect is going to get the victory, man. It's already written. Lord's will would be of the elect. Shalom.